how did your, if at all, how did your personal values compare or overlap with your professional values?
Oh, they were perfectly aligned. Because when you look at when you're going in, I was always raised to treat people the way you want to be treated. I was always raised to respect your elders, always raised to, um, you know, uh, know your manners when you walk in somewhere. Speak to people, smile, um, be courteous. To be on time, you're late, in most cases. So I was trained to be early. I was trained to be, to speak to the admin, the secretary, be very polite to the guy that's the oiler that is not as educated as me, having a degree from the University of Virginia, coming in and talking to a guy that may have an eighth grade education, if that, that is old enough to be my grandfather, that may be of a different race and experience and background. I'm 20 something, like 22, 23 years old, walking into a plant telling people what to do, you know,
Mm-hmm.
um, and directing, making recommendations that can impact, and shut down a plant if I'm wrong. That could impact thousands of people's jobs and cost the organization hundreds of thousands of dollars per hour in downtime. And so I have to, first of all, do my homework, know what I'm talking about, and be professional and talk to the least of these, and
Mm-hmm.
when, um, and that's when you're to your question about values. The way I was raised, it was very easy for me to go into those environments and work with people, um, because regardless of where you came from and who you may thought you were, I treated you the same. Whether you were the plant manager or the oiler, I spoke to you. I gave you the same amount of respect. But my mom always told me, be kind to people, but don't let people walk all over you. And there were times that I walked into plants that, you know, some folks, based off of their background, were not interested in hearing from a 23, 24-year-old young, African American, well-educated brother from another part of the world, as far as they're concerned, coming
Mm-hmm.
in there telling them how to do their job. And or they just thought it was funny for them to sit back and, make whatever jokes they want to make. Um, because they, especially when, a funny thing, if you talk to me on the phone, you may not pick up the fact that I'm an African American immediately, depending on how how seasoned you are at dealing with
Mm-hmm.
uneducated Black folk. Um, and I've had numerous occasions that I noticed that folks were shocked when I showed up to the account that I was who my name said I was, but they didn't believe it because I didn't look the part.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I've had experiences where folks have said things on calls, not recognizing that they were talking to an African American male.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Um, but they were exposed when I showed up, and you should see the look on their face. Um, and so we've had some experiences, and learning opportunities, as I call them. So they align; those values align personally, um, and I was always raised to have a high level of integrity. Um, and therefore I took guiding principles with me into my professional, corporate life.